Former President Jacob Zuma is a free man. His 15-month prison term for contempt of court ended today. Zuma was sentenced in June last year after he ignored a court ruling to participate in the state capture inquiry. Well, for more on the release of the former president, I'm joined now by Singabakho Nxumalo from the Department of Correctional Services. Nxumalo, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time, Zwit, this afternoon on Today here on eNCA. Well, it seems to me this was just a normal process of ending the sentencing or the jail term of the former president. He's completed 15 months imprisonment. This was just a straightforward process.
A very good afternoon, and thank you for having us. Yes, I fully agree with you. We had a court order giving us the sentence that Mr. Zuma was to serve. We admitted him on the date that we provided, being the 8th of July 2021, and he then served that particular sentence, and there was a medical parole placement, which then meant that he needed to continue serving that sentence within our system of community corrections, where he was being monitored, and the entire sentence has expired. Hence, today we confirm that we have thus released him completely from our system of correctional services.
So did he fully comply with the conditions of the medical parole?
We are able to confirm that indeed he complied with those conditions, as he was being monitored by our Transport Community Corrections Office, and they could check even on the system the visits that he needed to do when he needed to come to our office. Everything was done accordingly, so there was no penalty of any matter. Hence then today we needed to ensure that we release him from our system.
So the process to release him from your system being straightforward, does it involve having an interview with him, like an exit interview, kind of?
How it works is that a person will be admitted, and everything will be explained to say, as you're being admitted, this is the process that we ought to undertake, and after serving the minimum detention period, this is what is likely to happen. And once you are placed on a parole, if you are successful, this is how monitoring, will also be affected, and that gets repeated when a person is then placed on parole to the time where a person has served the entire sentence. And even on that particular day, the last day of the sentence, our officials then have do sit with the parolee, go through everything. You will know that we still have to fingerprint that person, and some papers that a person will need to sign. And also, if there are other matters where perhaps that person will still require further assistance in terms of reintegrating back into society fully. So as a department, we don't just release out there to say your sentence is expired, go well, go shall. We still have that responsibility of care in case there are still other matters that must be attended to. But all that we can confirm is that he is no longer in our system as correctional services, and that will also say that the only time we'll get to that interact with him, it would be perhaps if maybe there is a new offense where he's been sentenced, then that would be a new admission. But for this particular case, he's been removed from our system.
There's no outstanding issues at all?
There are no outstanding issues. They complied with those parole conditions. Hence, I've said there are no penalties or matters that still needed to be attended to. Is out. Our officials did release him this morning. He is at home now. He can enjoy full liberties of every South African who's not under a correctional services system, not under correctional supervision. He's a free man that can do whatever that is permitted under the law to do. You remember that you could not even address gatherings. You could not move anywhere that you wanted to without our permission. So that has come to an end. He can now move to whichever province without having to seek permission from us.
Yeah, the officials who were on the ground, have they given you as a department a report of how he was when he was being given the release pass?
The report is quite simple to say, here's the entire documentation. This is how we've captured, this is how we've monitored this particular parole, and indeed the sentence is expired, and this is the necessary documentation that we needed to go through, and this is where a parole, has signed. And then once everything is confirmed, and then that person will be released from the system. So we've got everything under record as a department.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Singabakho Nxumalo from the Correctional Services Department on the release of the former President Jacob Zuma. Today was officially the last day of his 15-month sentence. Remember, he was sentenced for contempt of court for not complying with a court ruling for him to participate in the State Capture Commission. So Jacob Zuma, as of today, is now, as you've heard, a free man.